On everybody. Oh man, yeah. Y'all take this ride with me real quick, right? We talk about this coffee time episode 53. But glad everybody with us this morning. Hope everybody feeling good. It's been a while since I did coffee time. I got a nice little ride this morning. It's the usual ride, but I started a little early. It actually went live a little earlier than I wanted it to, even though I pressed the button, right? Which is crazy. But anyway, this is Coffee Time episode 53. And this morning, right, I want to just, shed some light on a real sad situation, man. A lot of times we see these stories, and most definitely the situation that's going on with Carmelo Anthony in that situation, and even the other family, until everything is out, like we discussed yesterday during our show. And I hope everybody tuned into our show. If not, go look at the replay. We basically was on for 4 hours talking about it, and that's a pretty long time to be talking about some situations. But we was on, and we all gave a different perspective, and we all gave our spin. But like we all said, today for that situation is a bond hearing. So that's that. But Coffee Time episode 53 is going to be about a young man named Kyren Lacy. Kyren Lacy, for those that don't know, was a football player, former wide receiver, University of Louisiana State University, LSU Tigers. He was about to go to pros, and like a lot of players in college and a lot of the players in the NFL, a lot of times during the off season, they always tell you, you'll be on your best behavior. So allegedly, Kyren Lacy and some friends, they was out driving and they quote unquote was drag racing or whatever, or let's just say speeding, right? And he hit someone allegedly, right? And he wasn't at the scene. He left the scene or whatever. They found out that it was him, and he turned himself in, and he was charged with a civil suit, which is interesting. Him and another person was charged in a civil suit, and then they were charged. He was charged in a criminal suit. It might have been a negligent homicide or vehicle manslaughter. However it was, I really never looked at the charge. I remember the incident happening a couple months ago, probably like 2 months ago. But I was like, damn, this is, unfortunately, this happens a lot with these young men. Not just speed racing, but getting into situations right before the NFL draft. These guys that are very talented. It don't happen a lot, but it happens enough where, these are very, very tough times. Not tough times, but these are very cautious times from when a guy leaves college and is about to go to the pros or get drafted or have their pro days and stuff like that, right? So Kyren Lacy, unfortunately, he was charged with a criminal charge. I think a 72-year-old person lost their life, right? So he got a bond, was out on bail for a few. I think this incident happened exactly 2 months ago, right? So he was out on bond, and yesterday, Kyren Lacy's body was found. He died in Houston. And, when all the reports came out, I kind of knew what it was going to be that happened. Family confirmed it, everything. The young man took his life. And it's a sad situation, You don't want to be unsensitive to the person that he allegedly killed driving his car, and you have some empathy for the younger people who get themselves in trouble, and we may not understand it, or we may say, oh, he's a grown man, he's in college, or don't understand the severity, and then understand after they get themselves in trouble the severity of what they did. And you could go and look at the ages of 17 to 21. We know that in most states that's 17, and then once you get over 18 in majority of the states in the union, you're an adult. But that 17 to 21, man, it's interesting when you see a lot of our younger adults, our young men, young women as well. They get in a lot of trouble. They get in a lot of trouble, and they basically, as we would say, they ruin their lives before their lives even start. This is a sad situation, and then sometimes when you do get in those situations, this young man, he facing with what he was facing. He probably, never been in trouble before, never had to deal with, discipline for your actions. And I'm not saying that the family did anything, but this was a severe thing. And if he had committed the situation where the other person lost their life, he definitely should have had to deal with maybe the consequences. But unfortunately, he took his life, man. A mother lost their son, a father lost their son, family members, brother. I don't know if he had brothers and sisters, but the young man took his life, man, because he couldn't deal with maybe the consequences, man. And we need to do a better job with really teaching our young people that how to deal with these things. Suicide is a very, very touchy subject. Not that I know one person, I think, in my life that I know that took their life. Older guy that I remember from around my way. But I know a lot of people that have dealt with that in their families, and it's a tragic situation when somebody decides to take their life, because a lot of times the family blames themselves. Blames the person that committed the suicide, saying it was a selfish act and all this. I'm not a therapist, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I understand it, the psyche of an individual that would do that. But we need to do a 10 times better job with teaching our younger people how to deal with things prior to even doing something that may put your future in jeopardy. How to act. I mean, we want our kids to always have fun. We want to have fun. We had fun. We were younger, but you still always got to be cautioned, because for lack of better words, this man at the end of the college football season, man, he had his whole life in front of him. As we would say, the world was his oyster, man. He had a whole lot to look forward to, man, and in the blink, literally in the blink, speeding. In the blink of an eye, his life changed, and he took his life, man. His family life would have changed had he got drafted and got the money that he put forth all the work and, invested in himself, and his family invested in him, man. His whole life changed, man, like in the blink of an eye, man. So this is a really, really sad and tragic situation, man. For those that don't know about it, like I said, look into it, man. His name is Kyren Lacy. Really, really sad situation. But, it happens, you know what I mean? But, like I said, this is Coffee Time, episode 53. Remember, man, go about your day, man. Do y'all thing. I know that the weather probably start breaking, man, for good. I know it get hot one day and then cold the next day, but this weather will probably be breaking for good real soon. So keep that in mind. You guys have a good week, man. We got some good things coming down the pipe on the channel. You guys take it easy out there. Stay up.